X-Pac 12360. Featuring weekly news, insider commentary, and interviews with superstars, past and present from the world of pro wrestling.
A new day is dawning for DX.
And now, your hosts, Sean X-Pac Waltman.
Welcome to X-Pac 12360, everyone. We got a really big shoe for you here today. That was my Ed Sullivan. Ed Sullivan is this guy who back in the, anyways, Google Ed Sullivan if you don't know who the
Ed Sullivan is this guy on TV. TV is this thing.
All right. So yeah, we're it's going to be a really good show today because fresh off his win at Battle of Los Angeles for PWG this weekend, we're going to have Jeff Cobb joining us a little bit later.
Yeah.
Sweet. And you were, Jimbo was at Battle of Los Angeles all 3 nights, right?
All 3 nights filming hard cam.
Yeah.
It was excellent.
Yeah, so you saw everything.
I saw everything.
Nice.
Blew my mind. So much good wrestling. I had wrestling shows from Wednesday at Bar Wrestling to all the way to Sunday. So Bar Wrestling was Wednesday, Thursday, and then PWG was Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
So is there such a thing as too much of something you love,
No, because
Jimbo?
I came home after Sunday and watched Hell in the Cell.
Yeah?
So, yeah, never too much.
Wow.
But
all right. Nice.
ready to talk about it.
Huh. I had a great weekend. For the, I don't know, second time in the past month and a half, I was in Lowell, Massachusetts, that is, right outside of Boston. So the first night, the Friday night, I was, and both nights I appear was Scott Hall and Kevin Nash as the Wolf Pack. And we appeared for Top Rope Promotions. A couple months prior to that, I was there for Chaotic Wrestling, which is another great promotion. Anyways, so it was just a really laid back, weekend, just showing up and meeting the people and getting and just chill, have dinner, have lunch, spend time with my friends. Lou had a great time. She was, and she really did. I mean, she had a really good time. I can tell, although she needs a bath because, everyone wants to touch her, and you don't know everyone's hands are dead. So, anyways, all right. Back to Battle of Los Angeles, since I want to know more about it, Jimbo, and I think maybe the people see, because this thing about PWG is you're not going to watch the show live unless you're there live, and then you're not going to see it until they put it out on DVD, correct?
Yeah.
And when is that?
Well, they usually have a quick turnover rate, so I'd say the hype videos will probably be up with this week.
Yeah.
All 3 stages, and then you could already order it on highspots.com or prowrestlingguerrilla.com. But I'd say within 2 weeks they'll be available on DVD.
So you cannot stream it at all?
No. See, this is a question I got a lot this weekend, which I'll answer right now. There's so many different wrestlers under different contracts in PWG that you can't do live streams. Too many ropes to jump through and red tape.
But you can put it up for download.
No, I think it goes back into the contract things where certain wrestlers aren't allowed to be live streamed or pay-per-viewed or anything, but they're allowed to be sold on a DVD.
Yeah, but a download is the same as a DVD.
But the quickness of it and it being available the next day, they don't want that.
Well, and contractually, I think, because I think any wrestling promotion that's streaming live also has a VOD service. So by offering it the next day, it would be considered video on demand. So contractually, that would be in someone's contract with Ring of Honor or with any other promotion. It
didn't seem to get in the way of All In.
The me that wasn't at PWG would love to have been able to have watched it by now. But then
Super Dragon's in this mindset of if it ain't
I think it was.
So he doesn't care.
Yeah, but you have to grow. I was talking to Ron Funches about this, and they'd still be at
Still be in the Legion Hall.
Yes.
And oversell $16,000 worth of tickets.
And now look, right? That I haven't been there, but I've seen pictures of BoLA and all that, and it just looks so nice. And people aren't I was talking to, so I did Ron Funch's podcast yesterday. It's called Getting Better, and he talks about getting better, improving your life. But anyways, Ron's a dear friend of mine and also one of the biggest wrestling fans ever.
I saw him on Sunday.
Yeah. And he saw you, and you know, we were talking about this, and I'm like, you know, there's no valor in unnecessary suffering. There isn't. It's not. It doesn't make it any better. Okay, look, you know, to have done it when, like, okay, you pay your dues, or however you want to put it, or, you know, we're all coming up and building this thing up together, and it started off here, and, you know, started at the bottom, now we're here. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you have to grow. You do, and I know, like, people are resistant to change, but, like, and growth, but, like, it's a necessary thing to stay alive, because when you don't grow and you don't change, you die.
Yeah. And I think part of the growth you're mentioning is you need to be streaming or available very soon, very quickly. And I think for them to do that, they need to have like in-house counsel, ironclad contracts, and relationships with all the promotions to enable to do that. And it doesn't sound like they have that or care to do any of that.
I just don't think that I think that, you know, like, and I love, like, I admire the hell out of those guys, and I admire them doing it their way. And it is, and it's not for me to say, you need to do that. I'm just, you know, giving my opinion on just things in general, not just PWG. I'm just like overall, you know, thing. But what was I saying?
Well, like, if you can make more money doing this and more people want to see your product, why not do it?
Sure. And if you want to keep that, you know, put the show out on VHS or something, if you want to, like, hold on to the... Yeah, I don't know. There's little cool things you can do to, like, hold on to that. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm starting to sound like one of those people. Sorry.
I just see the process of, like, ring skirts. Like, this was the first year that they had BoLA ring skirts.
Yes.
And every year, Michael from High Spots has been like, hey, I could do this for you. Hey, you know I could do this for you. And he finally talked him into it. And today, or at the show, he's like, finally talked him into a curtain. A curtain that's the logo.
And what about the thing that projects like a graphic up onto the... So, I mean, come on, it made all the difference in the world.
There's like a huge thing about like that graphic in the background. If we could make that the live stream feed of what's going on in the show, then we could sell the third row in the Globe Theater. There's no seating up there. It'd just be standing room only, but they don't put people up there because you can't watch the show unless it was on the screen. So if they could figure that out, there's a whole nother level of seats that they could sell at the Globe. So
it sounds like their main focus is on the in-ring product, and that they don't want to ever do anything that might get in the way of that.
I was going to say part of the thing about PWG is, like, even through all, because I started going to PWG back like in 2005 when they were still at the Jewish Community Center. Wow. So that was like I still remember like my first match. I saw Chris Sabin and Chris Hero there, and I just remember the fact that it was like so small, and it was so intimate. Been to that place, yeah. So I almost feel like that's part of the charm about PWG, where it's not available to live stream, but it's the experience about being a PWG, not just for the wrestlers, but for the people. Everybody can say, like, man, being at a PWG event is one of the best events and best feelings that you can have. Like, they do 4-hour shows and you feel like it was like, what, 2 hours or whatever?
Sure.
So you know what to expect because they have such great quality. So I almost feel that part of it is the charm of that. Yeah, and
you
that
enjoy
experience.
sitting in 110 degrees.
Well, ignore that part. Except
Come on,
that part.
Trying to fight people for oxygen, and then the poor guys and the ladies in the ring. You know, do they have of course they do. Yeah. Come on, it's just like I've thought about. Maybe I'll like try to do something there, but like. The moment that I actually experienced just sitting in the crowd over there in Reseda, I'm like, nope. No, because I know, like, for me, my personal experience, like, the worst experience for me as a wrestler is in the ring and not being able to breathe and, like, just overwhelming heat, because I've had, and it's just the worst. It's the worst, especially for me. Because I've had some issues, like, anyways, that have made that harder for me.
You would have hated the football game I was at Sunday. I was the Eagles went to Tampa Bay, and I was in Tampa Bay for that game, and it was like
I grew
90.
Up there.
It was like 96. People were fainting. It was
96 with 96% humidity.
Oh, probably 100% humidity. It was just
Yeah, it's where you can't walk outside. Like, you could do your hair, You know,
Yeah.
like everything, walk outside, boom, he just falls immediately.
That's how I felt this weekend in Del Mar. My hair was looking very Dora the Explorer. That's for sure.
But yeah, BoLA was excellent. William Regal was there,
Yes.
scouting talent. So
Yeah. So let's
That's always
quickly,
cool.
let's talk about it. Tell me what
what were the highlights?
Yeah.
Bandito stole the show. Puma King, if you haven't heard of him, he stole the show. Lots of guys from CMLL and Mexico are coming to the States and really making their name and getting the exposure they deserve because not enough people watch Lucha or have access to Lucha, I would say, to see it. Joey Janela killed it like always.
Yeah.
Jeff Cobb, obviously, he won, and it was great to see his story, especially from a guy who he says in his post-match speech, I was banging on PWG's door for 3 years trying to get in here and decided to leave Hawaii, bet on myself, and look where I am. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that, Jimbo, because earlier we were discussing this, and I was discussing this with some friends, is the fact that, you know, people are discovering Puma King, and I think it's pretty crazy how, like, okay, Puma King is super talented, right? Like, incredibly talented, but if people only knew the amount of talent that there is down at CMLL, people would be absolutely blown away, because I feel that if these guys actually kind of broke out of, you know, the routine that they're doing down there and came down here, like, we would know more guys other than, like, Phoenix and Bandito and, you know, Rey Mysterio or Pentagon. The few guys that we know here and that we consider Lucha. Like, there's just so much more. And I honestly, like, I'm happy to hear that, you know, people are... Not many people, but that some people are coming and they're branching out, coming out here to the States, because I feel like that's one of the things that Lucha, the way they do it in Mexico, still hasn't been fully evolved here in the States.
Or that they come up here and then they kind of change, or like someone coming up from CMLL and then not really changing their style and just showing us how it's done where they are, and then melding that way.
Yeah, not a fan. I lived, hey, and this is coming from somebody that lived there for 4 years. I'm just not a fan of the pure Lucha style. I like what the younger guys are doing. And if it's what they're, you know, like, okay, I used to wrestle for Universal Pro Wrestling in Japan, and that was the precursor to Dragon Gate and Michinoku Pro and all that stuff. And so I wrestled all the legends, like, and in some of the younger guys coming up, like Heavy Metal, you know, that is Negro Casas' younger brother, and Felino's younger brother, but just for example,
of course,
you know, and when they came to Japan, they altered their style a little bit, and it was more hard hitting. It's hard for me to get into it when they're hitting with these lame ass freaking overhand chops and taking these shitty bumps, you know, and it looks and it kills, and to me it kills the great stuff they do. And I'm not saying everyone does that, but like, come on, I just, no one sees that. You don't, Denise? Do you not see that?
Well, I mean, honestly, I love Lucha, so I'm a total fan of everything that, you know, that I see there.
But can you not recognize the things I'm saying?
Of course, no, I can definitely recognize that.
But why can't they just fix that? And I'm not saying like it doesn't. Some of that stuff could just be tightened up. That's all I'm saying. And I have a lot of dear friends in Lucha that probably, if they're listening to this, are probably giving me one of those right now.
But I think
that means go F your mother, by the way.
But the one thing that we can argue is the fact that more names and more talented guys are coming up here and they're being recognized and finding success. Like, for example, Jimbo was just saying how Bandito completely sold out all his merch, and I was like, including his mask, which not a lot of people buy masks. You know, that's very specific. You know, not everybody gets them. So for him to sell out of every single thing, these are like he alone made more money in this weekend that he might have done maybe doing 3 months of main eventing down in Mexico, and that's
for sure.
For the amount of talent.
Viper said on Twitter.
All right, there you go.
He's like, yeah, all you people from CMLL need to look at Bandito and see that he didn't ask the office for permission. He saw this opportunity and took it, and now look, he made so much money. This weekend.
The guys that are working for the offices down there, CMLL or AAA exclusively, they're getting fucked. All the independent guys are making good money. Yeah, no, that's for sure. 1,000%. 1,000%. Those offices, they book the talent out and they take half. Half. That's fucking insane. Highway robbery, and those guys are getting fucked so bad down there. It's not even funny. Anyways, I can say that now.
Yeah.
Because it's 1,000% fucking true.
And they're wrestling so many shows. It's like insane. So like you think about like how they're like, you know, going out there and doing all this stuff when they could be probably doing a lot less here and making more money, you know?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, well, that was why they would try to keep the guys from coming here. They would try to keep them from coming here, or they would make sure they got a hold of the money. And they would have to, and the guys would still have to get paid from the office. Oh, yeah, to point, I just went on a little bit of a rant about that. And, you know, I usually don't do that on the show here. I usually try to keep it positive. But I have a place in my heart. Like, I love those guys down there. Like, I lived with those guys and was on the road with those guys every day for, 4 years. And they're all, almost every single one of them, wonderful people that work their asses off and are loyal to a fault in a loyalty that doesn't get reciprocated at all. So when I start thinking about that, it gets me worked up a little bit. And so if anyone was thrown off by me just going off about that, it doesn't happen often for me on the show. And I just love those guys. And also, the younger guys that you're talking about, they work more of an international lucha style that is adjusted, and like the Banditos and the
Phoenixes.
Yes,
the
those guys. Yeah. So I love their style. I think theirs is great. It's just like when I watch CMLL, the TV show, and I watch the matches, it's just like it's just. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mean to.
Yeah.
I don't like saying sorry so much either, but I've said it so much.
Speaking of this weekend, Hell in a Cell was this weekend.
Yes, thank you.
Becky Lynch, Charlotte.
Yeah.
They had a.
That was my favorite part of the show. Nothing even came close. It was and it was when Becky won. It was the biggest pop of the night. It was the longest pop of the night. The match had sustained heat from beginning to end. There wasn't you could hear pin drops at different points in the match. The people were in it. They were invested in it. And it was really cool, after Becky won and, her celebration in there and just the interaction between her and Charlotte at the end was great too.
Yeah.
And boy, did anyone see this shit coming with Becky a few months ago?
No, and that's one of the things that everybody was saying, that was the argument that people were like, why is Becky Lynch a heel right now? What is happening? This should be Charlotte. Charlotte should be the heel because everybody likes Becky. Becky has this charisma, this charm that people are immediately drawn to. So you definitely would want to probably see her more as a face, especially with everything that's been playing into it. So there's that argument.
If they start booking her like a face, though, it'll screw it up.
Yeah.
So, they just need to keep doing what they're doing with her and let the people make up their mind.
What about Charlotte?
Let her do whatever. I heard they're not going to... Or they're going to just keep her baby face. But if they do that, they need to move her away from Becky.
I've heard they've done a bit of a pivot with Becky, though, from full-fledged heel to more like an Austin heel.
Yeah,
where it's
that's fine.
She is what she is.
Yeah.
She is what she is. People will decide how they want to take her. But you're right. That doesn't work if she rematches with Charlotte.
I don't know how long they're going to let that, because they they like to feel like they're in control of things. So I mean,
they for sure like to do rematches, and that might not be the best for Charlotte, who they want to keep as a top baby face.
Which I'm not understanding that. I don't know. I'm not in their heads, and I don't know where their destination point is. We have we can speculate,
of course,
but
I think that changes by the week with them too.
And it should.
Or
it should be up for discussion at any time.
Yeah.
We should all reserve the right to change our mind at any time we want about most things. So I would. you know, you get stuck in this, like, this is what we're going to do, and we're sticking to the plan. And, like, they've done it with Roman.
Yep.
That was what happened back in the day with Vince's dad and Bob Backlund with Superstar, you know, and taking the belt off Superstar prematurely. Superstar Billy Graham.
Yeah. So yeah, sometimes things seem to be set in stone there, and sometimes they seem to change with the wind.
Depends on,
yeah, like
you know,
it depends on the
you know, he's the boss, and you
yeah,
know,
and what
so.
they see in who, like they see a lot in Roman Reigns, so that's the trajectory. It's going to take a lot more to change that trajectory, and I feel that way about Charlotte, but I think they could avoid a fan backlash if they put Charlotte with someone else.
I just think it's interesting, Charlotte, since last year during WrestleMania had what our predictions were at that moment after WrestleMania was we're going to be seeing Charlotte eventually face off against Ronda Rousey. But now, and you know, Charlotte beat Asuka, but then since then, you know, she lost twice, to Carmella, who, you know, some people weren't so crazy about her title reign.
Yeah, I wasn't.
So, you know, I kind of feel like that kind of brings Charlotte down like a lot, you know, because we saw her at one point, come on, she defeated Asuka, and you know, I kind of would have personally liked to see her built up more towards facing Ronda and kind of having like a, you know, I just think that I had more hope for Charlotte essentially.
That I don't disagree with you. I think you're I think you're right. It's just between now and WrestleMania, there's plenty of time to build her back up because she's excellent in there.
Also,
and she's a great talker. She owns it, you know, and they just have to handle her properly.
Also, if there's,
but we could build her back up.
If they're building a super fight with Ronda and Charlotte, wouldn't you prefer, instead of just everyone liking everyone, wouldn't it be more natural for Charlotte to be the heel heading into that match?
No.
Because that feels the most natural.
Oh, for sure.
Because everyone's already predisposed to liking Ronda Rousey. And what we've learned with the Becky Lynch things is that we're not always going to like Charlotte Flair. And
but they need to also leave a little breathing room in case some people side with Charlotte.
Yeah. Like, oh no, it definitely needs to be a super fight, not a just straight up story. But
good guy, bad guy.
But you still have to have everyone is the majority of people are siding with Ronda on this one.
So I mean, even if they technically keep Charlotte,
eventually, definitely first armbar, for sure.
And it would be unlikely this year, but by next Survivor Series, it's not unlikely to get a four horsewomen match.
Which I think is their ultimate goal.
Like that's an eventual goal of theirs.
If not at WrestleMania, then at a Survivor Series, definitely.
That would be, I think, two of the 8 we're talking about aren't quite.
Like the only things I really was like overly like I said just a bunch of times just now.
You're good.
The shit that sticks out to me in Hell in the Cell is all having to do with the ladies this time. You know, like not that there wasn't great stuff on the show, but like the real standout stuff was the ladies. For me, personally.
I really like Joe and AJ.
I like Joe and AJ a lot.
I just think...
But like we've seen that match before and we know what they can do, whereas like seeing the women perform like that on Hell in the Cell was great. Especially Becky. My only thing about Becky is she needs new music if she's going to be a heel.
Yeah.
I don't like the, whoa.
That's
like,
too...
Hey, everybody get up and cheer for me. Like, no, she needs new music.
But I think it should be a play on stuff she already has, though.
Like they did with Emma.
Yeah.
Really
like they did with
the tone of
Shinsuke.
Yeah, there you go.
It could be an octave or two down, or like what Shinsuke, where there's something backing to make less people cheer with you. Like there's an easy fix there without like completely overhauling her music. That you could literally put the woes in an octave or don't have them up top. That it'll get people talking. How'd you feel about that tag match? The Raw tag team match, Drew McIntyre versus The Shield. Just Drew McIntyre.
It was, going into the last 5 minutes or so, like they were crushing it. I mean, it was a great match and everything. But like it's that last, kind of like reminds me of the Kenny Omega Pentagon match where, boy, they really, I mean, it was excellent, like all the way through. And then like going into the home stretch there, they just blew it out of the water. Like, what a sequence. What a sequence.
One One
Michael
of the things that I noticed, speaking of commentary, and I thought it was cute, was during the match. I don't know if other people caught this, but when I don't know what I forgot what Dean Ambrose did in the match. It was something like super basic, but then all of a sudden I hear Renee go, "Oh!" like very enthusiastic, and I just started cracking up because I was like, "That's awesome."
Hey, were they like? Was she? I don't want to say this because, like, if it was a male announcer, I would say, "Isn't he on the Shield's tip an awful lot?" But but like, maybe it's just because like the history. But it was like, man, she sure is putting over Dean Ambrose like a lot, right?
Enough that I'm shocked no one's called it out yet. Okay. I also think,
she's doing very good.
She's doing a very good job. I don't know how I feel whether she should or shouldn't be very much a spectator in that seat. Part of me really, really likes that, and I think it represents a large part of the audience of like, I am also in awe of what I just saw. I like that the commentator just said that.
Yeah.
I like how authentic that is. But the other side, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of 3-person announce booths to begin with.
If we're talking about commentary, I want to mention my most favorite thing. Michael Cole getting really excited during one of the matches. I don't even remember which one it was, but he's like, they were watching a replay, and he says, "Listen to this impact." And as it replays, he says, "Bang!" right at the moment of contact. It's like, Michael, I know you're excited, but we can't hear the thing that you were calling out. I love him.
I also like that Renee at least doesn't contribute to the problem I hate with that 3-man Raw booth that they had with Coachman, which it feels
Stepping over each other.
and it's like a morning zoo. It's like 6 a.m. drive time radio on a rock station while a wrestling match is happening.
Check out the Shield coming on here.
they're a soundboard away from just being a straight up morning zoo.
Morning zoo sound effects.
Yeah,
oh God.
Exactly.
We don't do that nearly enough.
We don't, but I can't play it too long for
so we don't get pulled on YouTube.
Jeez.
Flagged.
Well, the live seems to not get flagged as much. I just gave away a huge secret.
Anyway.
All right. Well,
so,
what else?
Matt Hardy Saturday night.
Yeah. So Matt Hardy teases that he is retiring. He came out with a YouTube video basically saying that his job here was done. He talked about it was for him time to go home with his family. He mentions that he finished off his live dates with his last show being in Corpus Christi. So I don't know. What did you guys think? I think this is was a little surprising, maybe.
I'm not surprised at all.
Hasn't he been telegraphing this for like about the last month or so?
A little bit.
I'd say.
Well, because he had that tag team match.
It.
Well, because he and Bray had that tag team match with the B team on Raw in North Carolina, and like a lot of people were saying then that was kind of going to be a swan song. You had been hearing rumor of it before that. Like, I don't know. He strikes me as someone who doesn't need to be there all the time. Like, he doesn't feel like he needs to be in the WWE forever. That maybe he's stepping away, not saying it's a retirement, not saying he's done forever. Just I'm stepping away. If I feel like coming back, I'll come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I call that the Rob Van Dam.
Back to what I was saying earlier about we reserve the right to change our minds at any time. That goes with retirement, especially. Mm-hmm. Especially. So, I've known him and his brother.
Yeah.
Since they, they were in their teens. Hey.
Yeah.
He deserves to take a break, man, and let his body heal up, and we should just support him on that, and he'll be back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The interesting thing, and one of the things that I immediately kind of thought back to was when you think about all the guys that were in the TLC matches, Edge, Christian, Matt, Jeff, Devon, and Bubba. Jeff took like the craziest bumps, obviously, and he's kind of the one that is still, because Bubba is not wrestling, obviously as consistently. He's more like of a limited schedule, I guess you can say. Yeah. But Jeff Hardy, out of all the guys, is the one that's still going, Yeah. And you wouldn't have thought that like back when you see him do all these crazy things in comparison to all the other guys.
Yeah, I don't know if it's just he's built differently or because he's a little slighter built,
crazy in the head,
or maybe just stayed a little bit more flexible, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I know a few years back when I interviewed Matt Hardy when I did the Buckstock, this is before he had Maxwell, and he said he'd hate to have a kid and work for WWE because when you're there, they own you. So like now, so many years later, that he has 2 kids, he's had his second run. He got to come back at WrestleMania and win the titles with his brother. He's probably just thinking like, no, it's my time to go home and be a dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When it comes to that onions part, like, when you get to a certain, point in your career, you can decide how much they do or don't own you. And it might affect how they use you, but you can. I mean, and so, I mean, that experience is going to be different for different people. I'm sure they don't own Brock Lesnar. You know what I mean? That's a different,
but like,
that's a, unfair comparison.
Well, this goes back to our.
But just like me, I can tell you about back when I went back there after I got fired from WCW, and I put in my contract no more than 15 days a month. Because I wanted they could own me half the time.
It makes me think of when we interviewed Jesse Ventura and like going somewhere else and making yourself a star.
Yeah.
Which gives you clout when you come back.
Absolutely.
So yeah, Matt Hardy definitely has that to where he's like, you know what? I don't want to work 6 days a week, or I don't want to be in this town when I'm gonna miss.
And there's a lot of value he can offer to other wrestling promotions. So.
Absolutely, and to the business at large, and I'm sure WWE is best set to figure that out now. Yeah. That if like they could pay him his contract or similar, but he only has to go down to the Performance Center like once a month and then do a signing or 2.
Oh man, that made me think of something. Do we want to talk about Hurricane Helen showing up at the Performance Center?
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Him, Scotty 2 Hotty, I was going to say Prince Albert. Albert.
Yeah.
He posted a picture. He had a Performance Center shirt on, so he was down there helping out with students. That's great. What a year for Shane Helms.
Yeah.
He's done it all.
Yeah.
Literally.
They bring guys down there a lot, though. Like, that's not a surprise. It kind of just coincided a lot with the other things he's been doing. So, yeah. I just saw him at All In. He looked so good. So good. Best I ever seen him look.
I heard Billy Gunn looked excellent at All In, too.
The best. Yeah, Brian Cage is the only one that looked better than Billy. And that's subject to so. Yeah, look, I mean, do we want to talk about anything else on Hell in a Cell? Because this isn't like an official Hell in a Cell review show. So, I mean, is there anything else we're talking about?
No, not Hell in a Cell, but one of the other things was last week we had Dave Lagana on our show.
Yeah.
So now, this week we have some more news where Cody Rhodes will be defending the NWA World's Heavyweight Championship over in Las Vegas at the end of the month, September 29th for Ring of Honor against Willie Mack. So yay, Willie Mack.
Yeah.
Congrats to Willie. He's in Japan with Dragon Gate right now, and now he's getting to face the NWA World's Champion at Ring of Honor. That's amazing.
He's one of Willie, and I'm not just saying that's because, I have a history with Willie since he was a kid. He is one of the most naturally gifted guys I've ever seen come along in the industry, and not just gifted in aptitude for wrestling, but athletically gifted. And I'm talking about a guy that, I don't think he goes to the gym ever. I mean, we talked about that on the show. Yeah. And he can just go and go and go and do, it's just, I mean, I'm not saying that he's not in shape, because he is, because he goes out there and he kills every night. That's where but, it just blows me away, that he's that good. And he's just so likable. And you want to see him pull through and, get that W, even though, even though, chances are slim, you still.
Or at least put on a match.
I want to see that match.
Well, yeah, or at least put on a match where the example I always cite for something like this is I was at a Ring of Honor show where they had a Battle Royal at the very beginning, and Tyler Black had won the Battle Royal. Not many people knew who Tyler Black was, and he went on to face Nigel McGuinness in the main event for the Ring of Honor World title. So on paper, you're like, oh, well, that's a nothing match. Those two put on such a barn burner that by the middle of the match, you're like, some dude who won the Battle Royal at the beginning of the night might become Ring of Honor World Champion. This is insane.
Yeah.
That's what I would want from Willie Mack and Cody Rhodes, and I'm sure they're going to do it.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Where are they having it?
In Vegas.
Oh, okay. Right.
Probably at Sam's Town.
No, they're not doing it this time around. They're actually doing it at the Orleans Arena.
Oh, I've been there. I wrestled on a Lucha show. Conan was there, Marquez, different people. Anyways, I just had my thought went somewhere else. Back to me ranting
wrestling
about
in Las
Lucha
Vegas.
again.
They Sam's Town you mentioned.
It's a nice little arena, 6,000 people fit in there.
And they have whatchamacallit, they have WWE pay-per-views live at Sam's Town as well. So y'all just got a plug. Congrats.
All right, anything else, Denise? Because we really need to take a break. Come back.
We can
with
take
Jeff.
a break.
Yeah, you sure?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks. Be right back. Welcome back to X-Pac 12360, everyone. I'm honored to be joined right now with a phone from, I think he's in Las Vegas, Nevada right now. He is the 2018 Battle of Los Angeles winner from PWG. And he's literally, like, honestly, he's probably one of the top 5 guys in all of independent wrestling world right now. Everybody give it up for Jeff Cobb. Yeah. Yes. Jeff.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that sweet introduction.
I tried, man. I just kind of pulled it out of my ass like real quick. And it wasn't the smoothest. Like, one of my ex-co-hosts, Christy, she used to kill with those intros. Was she? No, she wasn't. Was Christy there?
No, she had just left.
Hey,
Last time Jeff was here was episode 39.
Okay. Wow.
And we're on 105.
Yeah, thank you. And so, yeah, Jeff, a lot's happened since episode 39 when you were on.
Yeah, I know. It's been a wild ride for me, man. But I'm super appreciative of all the success I've had, and definitely owe it to a lot of people just, giving me a chance and giving me opportunity.
Yeah, man. And that's the thing that, like, one of the things that stands out about you to me is the amount of gratitude and everything you just have for your life, not just your career, but your life in general. And how that, like, and just in that, how that affects how you treat others and how I see you are to others and how other people love you. Like, and like, for instance, like I saw, like, probably, it was about a week ago, I saw Matt Riddle tweet out just about how much he missed you. So, like, that says a lot about you, Jeff.
Well, I try to, Sean, you know firsthand, like this world it's crazy as is. There's a lot of negativity and a lot of hate out there, and wrestling should be a getaway from all that kind of stuff. So, I just try to be as positive as possible, because everybody's going through stuff. And when we come to wrestling, I guess this is our work. And, we try to leave our BS outside and just have fun and entertain fans and just have a getaway, even if it's just for a couple hours at a show, we just want to get away. So, I try to be as positive and as happy as possible. And plus, it also helps that I'm from Hawaii and we're just super laid back and we just enjoy life. So.
Mahalo. Hey, no, but so this is an escape for them, but it's also an escape for us too, because, we can forget about our problems for a few hours while we're there, making the people happy. And, so it's a win-win, really.
Right. Yeah. It's a win-win for everybody involved in a wrestling show. So that's why, like, there's no other form of entertainment like pro wrestling, man. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead.
Well, I want to know, who is your hardest opponent at BoLA?
Well, to be fair, everybody is hard because not everybody just gets invited to BoLA, let alone PWG. So, like, the behind the crew guys at PWG definitely always bring in the best of the best, and it's every match is usually like a main event status match. So I had a rough match with everybody. Even most people say, like, oh man, you just killed Trevor Lee in like 14 seconds, but to be fair, I did catch him off guard. So he wanted to jaw jack a little bit on the microphone, so I kind of just turned that negative into a positive for me.
Nice. Who did you have the most chemistry with this weekend, or the best chemistry?
Well, you know, I don't know. I feel like I've called Matt Cross this, but I feel like I'm in the same boat as Matt Cross, where I feel like I can have good chemistry with just about any person or any style. So I mean, I felt like I flowed with everybody, especially that main event match where it was two guys, like one guy was from Mexico, one guy's from Japan. So that language barrier is really tough.
Yeah.
But I felt fine with that, and I felt fine with Darby and Ray Horace and Trevor Lee. So I just feel like I flowed well with everybody. I felt like I was on my A game this past weekend.
Jeff, on Twitter, you posted a list of all the past winners from Battle of Los Angeles. How does it feel to see your name on there now?
It's pretty darn crazy when you think about it. Like just looking at that list, it's like a who's who in professional wrestling, and it's crazy to be on that list of past BoLA winners, and just it's very surreal, realistically, because growing up as a kid in Hawaii and in an island far away from where all the wrestling is, you know, I envisioned myself being successful, but just, I mean, this is just a huge stepping stone for me, and it's very surreal, really.
And really, like it is such an it's an incredibly important thing to have on your resume, Jeff. Okay, this is wrestling, it's a work or whatever, but like that is a huge accomplishment. Like to me, like when you look at everyone that's you know come along before that, and
just a list of Chris Hero, Kenny Omega, Low Key, Roderick Strong,
Ricochet twice.
Yeah. So many people, like, even to just make it to the finals, let alone win the tournament, is huge. Especially like wrestling. What did you wrestle? 5 matches this weekend?
I had 4 in 2 days.
Yeah, 4 matches in 2 days. That's crazy on the body.
Hey, go ahead.
I wanted to know, what was it like when you wrestled Darby, and for you two to be the first non-Mexicans to have people throw money in the ring at you? Because usually that's a Mexican thing at PWG. All the Lucha guys, they throw money in the ring after the match if they like the match. But Darby and Jeff were the first Americans to have that done.
Well, I mean, it depends on who you ask. I guess I can be considered of Spanish descent, but I don't. It's weird. Like I don't. You know, every time like when that happens, it's always great. Like, don't get me wrong, because the Luchadors always put on great matches, but to be able to have money thrown in our match, it's a sense of pride, because I mean, you know, at the same time, it's like, hey, we have great matches too. You could throw money if you want to. I'm not saying like you have to throw money in all of my matches, but I mean, if you feel compelled to, I mean, feel free to throw some money, or worst case scenario, just stop by the merch table and pick up some cool merch.
Either or.
Yeah.
Show your support if you like
or
my
both.
Or just have your Venmo in your trunks. Just make sure cover all the bases.
Hey, okay. So, how much money did you guys split up?
For me and Darby.
Yeah.
Gee, I don't remember.
I mean, was it?
I think it was like maybe roughly about $20 each, I guess.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, because it's not about it's not about like, okay, we're getting it, like this is another payoff. It's like no, it's a token of appreciation, and you can go out and buy a few beers or buy a meal or something. It's sweet.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I used to get it done sometimes too.
I don't go into any of my matches expecting money to get thrown at me. My goal every show is to steal the show and make people who are on the fence about me personally just change their mind. I'm like, okay, well, Jeff's like, if someone doesn't view me as a quote unquote top talent, then my goal is to have them change their mind and go, oh, damn it, I was wrong. So that's my goal. Like, my goal is not to make extra money, but I mean, it's just a little icing on the cake, if you will.
Yeah. Hey, so I've been like paying attention to your matches since, since was it not last? The BoLA you were in with Ricochet.
Last year.
Yeah,
that was
I've been really
BoLA.
following, and I'm watching the progression of like your in-ring work, and man, it's come a long way since even then.
Well, yeah, thank you. I mean,
It was
goal
great
again
then
is
too.
always
I don't mean to
improve.
say it wasn't
Like,
great then.
I never want to just like ride what I have. I always
Yeah.
want to get better and be better. Like, you know, if you aren't striving to be the best, what are you doing? You know?
Yeah, yeah, and I've noticed like your style. Like, hey, do you like working with guys that are bigger than you, Jeff?
You know, a part of me says yes, and a part of like because of what I can do with bigger guys.
Yeah.
Like, I've been blessed with being able to have like stupid strength to throw big guys
Yeah,
around.
it's ridiculous,
Oh,
man.
Yes, to pick them up and toss them. So that part of me says yes, but my lower back says no.
Ah,
So,
yeah,
but I mean, it's I mean, it's great. Like I said, I love working with either one. Like it doesn't matter. Like my goal, like I said, is to steal the show and have the best match on the card and make you guys and have great memories for, you know, for people to look back
Yeah.
on. Like, oh man, you remember that one time when Jeff did this? And so that's my goal.
So because you have a really unique style from my point of view, because like you're a power guy, and but you just said you have a unique way. Like I see you do stuff that some people will consider like high flying stuff,
Yeah.
like the flips and
A
different
standing
things.
shooting star press.
Yeah, yeah, man, and I really like how you do. Not that other people don't do both flying stuff and power stuff. I just love your way of doing it.
Well, thank you for that. I mean, like I don't want to be typecast as this type of wrestler, this type of wrestler. Like I said, I want to be all around, where if you put me in with a luchador, I can do luchador stuff. If you put me in with a big guy, I can do big guy stuff. And you put me in like a Zack Sabre or Timothy Thatcher, I can do the ground stuff too. So I just want to have a very well-rounded game, because at the end of the day, I feel like I'm more valuable if I'm a jack of all trades, if you will.
Yeah.
That's one of the things I actually wanted to ask you, was that you've had such incredible chemistry with luchadors. Do you ever think that we're going to see you go down to Mexico?
Well, I've done a few shows for The Crash out in Tijuana. I enjoy my time there. The wrestling is fun. If the rings aren't old school, traditional luchador rings where they have no give, then I'm kind of sad about that.
Yeah, man.
But because I've done like 2 shows in Mexico with those very stiff rings, and they hurt.
Oh, they're the
They
worst.
hurt so bad.
Yeah, Tijuana used to have the hardest ring like in the history of wrestling. They changed it apparently now, but it was the worst ever, man. And yeah, a lot of the house shows you go work on like down there are still in those really hard rings, Jeff. When you do TV, like you'll get a somewhat forgiving ring.
Yeah, like forgiving rings are nice.
Yeah.
I loved in your match with Bandito, you do a crossbody to him and he catches you. Did you think that was going to work? Who called this spot in the back?
Oh, Bandito did.
He did?
So, yeah. So I've been cursed with having guys that think they're strong, pick me up and throw me, just because I can do it. Like I never brag about my stuff, but I've been in quite a few matches where they're like, "Oh yeah, I'll pick you up and do this," and there's been a few times where like my life flashed before my eyes because they almost dropped me. So for him to do it, and like he's a deceptively strong guy, because when you think of luchadors, you don't think of them being like the powerhouse.
Right.
Bandito is definitely one strong cookie, man. He's so I feel comfortable now, and if Bandito wants to do something, I'll be more willing and open to do it now, just because he showed me he can do it. So
Hey Jeff, are you when they look at you and think they can hoist you around like that, is it because they overestimate their strength, or they underestimate just how big you are, or how compact and like how much you weigh?
I think they overestimate their strength. I underestimate how big I actually am.
Yeah.
Like I'm not the big if I stand next to like a Brian Cage or a Keith Lee, like I'm small in comparison to them, but
Dude, come on, no. You weigh as much as those guys. You weigh as much as Brian. Come on.
Yeah, I'm deceptively big. Like because like I don't have the giant muscles that he has, but I guess I get it all in my lower half with my legs and my ass, I guess.
You a big deadlifter, Jeff?
Used to be.
Yeah, I bet.
Now in my older age, I tend to not go crazy heavy anymore, just because I want to have longevity as opposed to, So, but I mean, if I ever get a chance to like lift with John Cena, I'm definitely gonna max out because I don't want to lose to him.
He's really strong, man. Like, I mean, I know that might sound like that might sound like an obvious statement, but like ridiculous beyond belief.
Like he went to, and this isn't hyperbole, he went to college for that.
Yeah.
Like that's what his degree is in.
Hey, Jeff, so you left Lucha Underground and...
No, he's still there in season 4.
Oh, you're still in season 4?
The Matanza character is doing sacrifices right now where he's just wrecking shop and like squashing people, basically.
But you're out of your contract now, right, Jeff? Or no?
As of now, well, when the season's done, then yes.
Okay. And then it's done. They can't opt for another season on you?
What I was told was no.
Okay.
So I hope they don't try to mess with me in the end, but from what I was told going into season 4, then I was good to go.
Now, do you think that they'll try to have someone else play that Matanza character?
I hope they don't.
Yeah, but I mean,
not from an ego standpoint,
right?
Just for the fact that like you can't have somebody like what they tried with, like somebody else to play Kane.
Yeah,
like, I don't think that'll work.
Or like when Kane played Diesel, remember that?
Yeah, so like these like Kane couldn't play Diesel, but Kane can play a great Kane.
That's right.
Like those kind of things. Like I think if they try to get somebody else, it would be it wouldn't be as good as the original.
Oh, for sure it wouldn't, because no one can even come close to duplicating what you do in the ring. It's just like TV people, in their minds, they think, oh, it's like we could just put the mask on somebody else that's a big dude, and, it'll work. I mean, so it wouldn't surprise me, and it's not just TV people. Obviously, it's been done in wrestling, and in Mexico especially, how they do it. Like how many La Parcas and Mascara Sagrada, and like they've had different versions. So like you wouldn't put it past wrestling people and TV people to think they could get away with it.
Yeah, I just hope not.
Oh, yeah, I do too. I hope not.
You never know.
Yeah.
So Jeff, what's the difference for you?
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just what's the difference for you in terms of wrestling a lucha style and an American style?
Well, with the lucha style, I got to run a lot more, and I get tired. So, but I'm a pretty darn good base, so, and I can catch people really well. So, I mean, I have more fun doing like the quote unquote American style, just because it's, I'm around it more, like with all the indies that I do and whatnot. Like, it's just easier for me to do that than switch over.
Hey,
to do a lucha style.
Have you, like, when you talk about American style, like, it seems like these days, Jeff, and, I'm a little bit more removed from everything, but I still, I'm on shows and everything and that, but it seems like American style is, there's several different styles that make up American style these days. Depending on who you're running into,
Yeah, like I've definitely seen it. Like, for example, I did a couple of shows like in the, like Tennessee and Mississippi, and their style is like a PWG match probably wouldn't mean anything over there,
or really. Vice versa.
Yeah, right. So, I think it's just like maybe it's regions. Like,
could be.
Like around like the Tennessee, like that area is a little bit different than what you would see like in the Northeast. And
Yeah, but do you think the Northeast stuff and like the stuff out here are pretty similar?
For the most part, yeah. Like for the shows that I've been on, they've been pretty similar. But like, I mean, for me, I try not to do styles per se because, like, I'm more of I want to tell a story in the ring. Like, I don't want to just do a match just to do a match with moves and stuff. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, like my goal is to get people invested, like emotionally invested in my match. They want to see me win or lose, or vice versa, or whatever.
And I can honestly see you just working your style, and that it's pretty. It's one that like works well with any other type of style that from my point of view, like, you know, Japanese style, like, you know, like typical American style, lucha style. Like I could see that blending in well with pretty much anything. European style. Hey, have you been to Europe much?
Yeah, I've gone there about maybe, I think 10 times I'm counting last year, like maybe 6 times this year so far.
Yeah, mainly UK, or are you going to Germany? How's that working?
More so Europe. I will be going back to Germany next month.
Yeah. For WXW. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it up there. Like Europe's a great scene, and Germany's been getting a lot bigger buzz. Like if you notice, like at this last PWG, there was, I believe, 3 from Germany from the WXW group. So
yeah, how's Walter to work with?
Oh, Walter's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of a rhetorical question. I just want to know your experience personally with him.
Oh, he's good. Like I love his style because he doesn't need to do, you know, death-defying stuff or whatever. Like he is the epitome of what you're supposed to do in a wrestling match, and that's just win. Yeah. And he's trying to win every time. So, and that's great. Like he doesn't do any high-risk stuff that he doesn't need to. His matches make sense, and when you look at him, like, I mean, pardon my French, but he's a shit brick house. So
yeah, he is.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, man, and it looks like he's bringing it too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hey Jeff, have you had any problems in the ring with anyone that you had to straighten them out?
Honestly, no. Probably the only time has been with a guy that was like super green, and he was drinking before the match.
Oh.
And I didn't know that until in the match where like I kind of smelled it, and he was forgetting, like he'd mess up a sunset flip.
Okay. Yeah.
And I just kind of gave him a big boot in the face, and I was like, yeah, we're going home, buddy.
Yeah. Huh.
Well, earlier
for the most part, I've been very fortunate not to have those kind of things happen.
Oh, that's good.
So.
Well, earlier, speaking of scenes, you're now with Ring of Honor. I wanted to know if we are going to be seeing more of you in New Japan.
Well, that's my goal. I mean, they haven't announced me yet, but I will be at the Long Beach show on the 30th. So, and then, you know, like, I'm not at liberty to say what else I'm doing with them for the rest of the year, but I will be, hopefully more on New Japan World and all that fun stuff, and on Access and all that fun stuff.
And Jeff, with everything going on in your career right now and how great the scene is in general, is WWE even in like to have a place in your head right now? Like, is it still like is it a goal at all?
No. Like if you asked me this like 10 years ago, I would have said I want to go there now.
Yeah.
But with this giant resurgence and boom in wrestling, like I think, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like if WWE can call and all the stars align, I'd definitely go. But
yeah,
as of like right now, I'm having a blast. You know, I'm working 3 days a week and making a nice living, and you know, like I'll be honest with you, like I said, like as a kid, I was WWF is all I watched.
Sure.
Like, that's all we had. I mean, we did have, I believe it was Global Wrestling Federation on ESPN.
Yeah. Did you ever see me on there, Jeff?
You know what's funny? Like looking back at my old PWIs, I'm like, okay, I did watch you then back in the days. So It was like WWF is definitely it's the NBA, it's the NFL, it's the Major League Baseball. It's where you go to be seen by how many billions of people all over the world. So
yes,
I mean, like I said, if the stars are aligned, price is right, and everything else like that, like if it lines up, then I definitely take into consideration because like WWF is what brought me to be a wrestling fan as a kid.
Yeah, I just think that right now you're still going. Your trajectory is still like going upwards, like and without needing to go there. And I can't. Man, just ride it, man. Ride it, this son of a bitch out until it starts to level off, and then reevaluate things. But man, I'm so happy for you, man, because you're one of the really good guys in wrestling that I've met, and so respectful, and always been so nice to me, and I'm very grateful for that. And do you guys have anything else you want to?
Well, talking about going to WWE, did you have any talks with William Regal at BoLA this weekend?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So he watched my match with Darby Allin. And I definitely picked his brain after. So there was two guys backstage who I picked their brains of after my match, and it was one was William Regal, and the other one was Brian Kendrick. So definitely them watching my match, it was a huge honor. They took time out of their schedule to come and just watch this crazy indie show going on, and for them to have feedback and things that I could try differently and how to better my game essentially it was awesome. Like both of them had been there, done that, and they're still doing it. So having them to give me some advice was very surreal. And then when I was talking to Regal about certain things, and he was like, "Oh yeah, here, let me show you this," and locking up with him backstage is crazy. He was like, try this, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I'm locking up with William Regal here. This is awesome.
Man, that guy was so amazing in the ring. If you wanted to wrestle, there was nobody to me better to get in there with than well, I call him Steve, but anyways, yeah. And I really think that do you watch a product like the NXT or any of that stuff, Jeff?
I try to watch NXT because all my buddies have been getting signed, so I always want to see and. For me, I don't want to sound like a critic or anything like that, but I can't sit and watch a 3-hour Raw. I really can't.
It's a lot. Yeah.
But at NXT, it's an hour show. They've got great matches, good stories, and so I do watch NXT. Raw, I'll kind of skim through and watch certain things that I want to watch, but for the most part, I'll watch NXT more than a Raw or a SmackDown.
It's the superior product on that WWE offer. It's the top product, as far as quality stuff goes. And I think, and the reason why I asked you that is because I think a huge part of the reason is not only the talent, but who was there guiding the talent, which is Shawn Michaels, William Regal, obviously Triple H, and guys like that. So I think that's why that recipe is amazing. Having that wisdom and watching over that world-class talent there, it blows me away.
Yeah, I mean it's a great blessing to have those type of guys to be associated with your work. They've like I said, they've been there, they've done that, they know the ins and outs and how to make the product that much better. So I mean, they're very fortunate to have that.
Hey Jeff, we got to wrap it up, but I just wanted to ask you what is next, your immediate stuff moving forward.
Well, I would love to. I mean, you probably read Dirt Sheets and whatnot and seen it on TV as well. But I've been popping up the Ring of Honor, kind of just they have this cross tournament, and I'm kind of insulted that I wasn't invited because I feel like I'm a top prospect. So I've
for
been
sure.
kind of just crashing parties and throwing people and whatnot. So I definitely would love to do more Ring of Honor stuff in New Japan. So yeah, just keep your eyes open for those two wonderful companies.
Right on. Do you have merch or like a website? You know, pro wrestling tees, any of that
You
stuff?
get your action figure at Figures Toy Company.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, all my first action figure, which is like,
all right.
I cried when I saw because I was I'm very sentimental like that, but I mean, to see my first action figure and people bring it to shows and asking me to sign it, it's been a crazy thing. But yeah, Figures Toy Company, man, you can get them all there. And I do have a Pro Wrestling Tees store, so if you just search Jeff Cobb, it'll come up like in the searches. It'll say like Jeff Jarrett and Jeff Cobb. So we're the only two, but I'm the Jeff Cobb one. So.
Anything else, you guys?
I was wondering, we talked about this at BoLA. You want someone to make your entrance music. Can we talk about that? And maybe.
Oh yeah. So like when I do New Japan, they actually they made me entrance music, which is amazing in itself. And then a gentleman at Ring of Honor was like, "Hey, I'm going to make you some music too." I was like, "Oh, that's cool." So I've been using this will be. I'm sorry, I'm going off on a little.
Don't worry.
But,
go ahead.
So if anybody ever gets on Jeopardy and asks what was Jeff Cobb's first entrance music, I did my debut match. I came out to Rhino's ECW song.
Okay.
Because that was the only thing I could think of. I was like, "Oh, that's a cool song." And then my second match I ever did, the booker at the time ended up just switching it to. He gave me, he's like, "Hey, this song is pretty cool," and it was Korn, "Coming Undone."
Okay.
And
nice.
I've been using that ever since. And yeah, so I was, a part of me wants to tweet out or message Korn and be like, "Hey guys, I'm a huge fan. My last name's Cobb. Your band name's Korn.
Korn of the Cobb."
like I would love it if you can make me entrance music. But then a part of me doesn't want to let them know. Like, I'm probably not on their radar, but I don't want them to see like, "Oh, who's this jabroni using our music as his entrance music?"
It's Jeff fucking Cobb. That's who. Fucking Korn. Make the fucking music. Sorry.
When was the last time Korn won BoLA?
So I don't know. I'm trying to muster up the courage to maybe send them an email or a tweet or something like that.
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't get mad at me for using their entrance music, but Korn, if you're listening, I'm a huge fan.
Do you have an idea of what song you would want? Like "All Day I Dream About Suplexes" or?
Honestly, like because I've been using "Coming Undone" for so long. Like if they made something like that more themed towards me, then that would be like a dream come true.
Awesome. Maybe we could put that out there in the universe, and they might pick it up.
Yeah.
All right. Cool, man. Anything? Anyone? Bueller? Cool. Jeff.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, man. And fresh off your BoLA win, it's an honor to have you on, man. Thank you so much, Jeff. You're one of the great guys in wrestling.
Thank you, guys. I truly appreciate it, and thank you, Sean, for having me on your show again. And it's always a blast, man.
All right. 2018 BoLA winner, Jeff Cobb, everyone. Yeah. All right. Yes. Cool. All right. Anything before we go?
Follow you on Twitter at @TheRealXPac. Use the hashtag XPac12360. Go to our YouTube, youtube.com/XPac, and subscribe. We're almost to 1,000. I think last time I looked, we were at 7
or 8.
Yeah. I need to start putting more content up there too.
Oh,
so
yes. I shot some content this weekend. We're going to get to that. October 19th, Friday, October 19th for Glory Pro. You'll be there with Buff Bagwell and Scott Norton. Vicious
doing
and
an NWO type of thing, yeah.
Tickets at ticketweb.com. Follow me on Twitter at Jimmo in the Booth.
Awesome. You guys can check me out on YouTube, youtube.com/Denise Salcedo. There's tons of random stuff on there. If you're a movie fan, wrestling fan, whatever, it's on there. And Twitter and Instagram at _Denise Salcedo.
I'm Steve Kaufman. You can find me on Twitter almost exclusively at Steve Kaufman. That is KAUFMANN.
All right. All right, everyone. We'll see you right here next week on X-Pac 12360 on AfterBuzz TV at Westwood One and the Jericho Network.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, Sean Waltman, producers Mark B. Donica, Jimbo Frank, and the entire X-Pac 12360 staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in. Like us on Facebook, rate and comment on iTunes and YouTube. Follow X-Pac on Twitter @TheRealXpac and email us at xpac12360show@gmail.com.